back to the lead card coverage for round 2 of the Michigan State Championships for 2020. We're on the back 9 now, and on the commentator's mic, I have myself, Zach, and Donut with me. How you doing, Donut?
I'm doing great.
Super excited to have you back on the commentator's mic with me, and thanks again to all the sponsors who helped get this event off the ground. Without your assistance, pros wouldn't be as fun as they are. And taking a look at the front 9 scores here, Brendan and Andrew both setting the pace at 4 down. Super solid round there. And Jeff and Ian just close behind at -3 and -2 respectively. As we head into hole 12, which is our tournament hole 10, 413 feet par 4. This one first tails off to the left. On your initial drive, you're really just trying to get past these first wall of trees here. I suspect that someone probably has gotten up all the way with a big forehand anhyzer, but really there's a lot of trees here, so you can't really expect it, I would say. Anything past that first wall of trees to give you an open look to a forehand towards this kind of tilted green is a good shot, I would say.
Yeah, the 3 plays here are really layup, get lucky, or roller. And Marwede is going for the get lucky.
Yeah, Marwede's pumping that one on anhyzer. Like I said, he's got lots of different Firebirds. One very understable. He's just trying to cut that down there.
This is the layup play, which I like a lot. It just makes for the easiest 3. I think he wanted to bite a little more distance off than that. He wants to get past those trees.
Yeah, I think he hit one of those trees and it kept him from going past. Jeff Bennett, I think, actually playing the roller play here. He's trying to get it on an angle and then try to cut past those. And here it comes right now.
Yeah, he's trying to go as wide as possible, and then he wants that disc to curl up, I believe. But he wants to curl it up maybe another 80 feet up the fairway.
Right.
Just get a little more roll out of it.
A lot of foliage that he had to beat there. Ian with forehand here. This one's looking really good.
I'm not sure what his intention is with this. I think it's to hit flat and just kind of scoot.
Yep.
Like kind of an in-between play.
Yep, and it ended up working out just fine. Lucky Brendan here is a lefty, as he's going to have a hyzer look, as he kind of had some compromised footing there. He's going to land right where Ben was in round 1, see if he can convert that putt.
Yeah, Brendan looking at a potential first bogey of the round. He got through the front 9 a little clean, missed some birdies, but converted all his pars.
Absolutely. As Jeff makes easy work on the approach shot there, he's put himself well inside circle, and Ian throwing a polecat here wide. I did not expect it to go that high. That's why I didn't pan the camera there, but he went wide and high, and he's done a nice job as well. He will be inside circle, probably 20 feet.
Yeah, not exactly how I like to throw it, but I'm sure he'll be thrilled with the result, just being right up there.
Marwede actually missed the hole. He nicked a tree in round 1, kept him from getting that 3, and so this time he's probably a little happier to get up there for his 3 look.
Brennan with a pretty obstructed putt that's not particularly close to the basket, and just airballs it wide. I'm sure he's frustrated after his last couple missed putts too.
Yep, and coming back from a hiatus from disc golf too, the putting is the hardest thing to get back to where he was. If he's a 995 rated player, his putting had to have been phenomenal. So just trying to get that back into that rhythm, and even without his normal putting, he is Ian is kind of misses that one as it was a little too low, kind of fell off that rim there. But like I was saying, even with Brendan not having his putt where it normally would be, he'll certainly get that back over a little bit of time, but still doing well. He's only 2 strokes back from Marwede right now. Ian taps in his putt there, and Jeff with a very, very short distance here for his 3 look. Not too bad from the card there as we head into hole 13, 324 feet par 3. This one is a very sharp cut to the left here. Ziggy had mentioned earlier in round 1 that he thought this hole might need an extension farther back to make the hole maybe a true par 4. I think that'd be a good suggestion. This is one of the holes that very rarely saw birdie. In round 1 there was only 1 birdie, and that was a throw-in by RJ Santala. Shout out to him. So 324 feet, you're really just trying to lay it up to the corner. You'll see Marwede probably throw a hyzer with a putter. Yep, exactly like that. You're just trying to get around the corner, be in the open, get underneath the basket, and tap in a 3.
Yeah, my favorite play on this hole is to take your most overstable driver and rip it like 6 inches off the ground and try to get a bunch of skips up the fairway. But the problem with that play is that even if you get way up there, running the basket for 2 isn't a smart play. You still want to lay up because there's so much deadly stuff behind the basket.
Yeah, there's a drop off. We saw Jeff there yesterday as he took an unfortunate, I think 5 on this hole, running one of those putts. And it definitely can get your score up real quickly if you get a little too aggressive on the hole.
Yeah, Jeff not really known for his layup, and he was kicking himself after that, knowing that he probably should have laid up, but it just isn't in his game.
He's got that championship mentality. He just loves to run it. And he's confident with his putting. He's a very good putter. And so seeing here our layups now, Marwede with looks like an AVR there, putting it right up next to the basket. He's going to make easy work with this hole. Luckily, there's a little bit of sand around the basket itself, so it does kind of catch discs a little bit.
Yeah, if you hit the ground at all, you're very likely to choke up, like Ian did there. He missed the sand, but it still choked up okay. But if you air it at all, it is just gone.
Yeah, you're guaranteed circle's edge putt, and that's best case scenario, I would say.
Brendan, probably an AVR X3. Looks like the flight on that forehand there.
Yeah.
Beautiful layup.
Absolutely. Jeff looks like he's going to learn from round 1. He's going to take the layup here.
Beautiful correction, easy putt. Just taking his 3.
Yep. I mean, he was 1 stroke back from Marwede after day 1, and he had a 5 here, so taking a 3 here should help him try to keep up pace with Marwede as Ian's able to convert his par. Jeff's going to tap in his as well, and we'll have a couple of cleanups here from Brendan and Andrew as well.
Yeah, this is just the scramble check hole. If you're clean off the tee and are okay at laying up, your putt should be really easy here. But, Andy, please make this. Okay. Looks like he was telling jokes to the camera on that one, but he did convert his par. You're just trying to make sure that you don't take a bogey on that one.
Absolutely. Hole 14 now, 272 feet. This is the island hole. Forehand hole for sure, lefty hole. You want something overstable, crashing into this green area. There is probably the tightest part of the OB of this island is closest to the circle, just past it and to the right. So being a little more left is the safer play, I would say. And the drop zone is
also to the left there. Probably 50 feet.
Yeah, so the left side's probably 50 feet away from the basket.
I like the right play here, choking up on your skip there and just dumping into the right side. So it is a little bit closer, but there are trees inside the OB there. So even if you have an abysmal shot, that you have a pretty good chance of being saved by the foliage.
Sure.
Plus, that's where your forehand generally wants to go in the first place. So just committing to this hyzer, like Brendan is doing here with a lot lower shot, which I like.
I think this is his gator, if I recall correctly.
Ooh, straight skip, just like Marwede yesterday, but with such a lower shot, that action didn't carry him quite as far.
Yeah, and the disc is much slower than his Firebird as well, so it's not going to get that big skip that he had. Here's Ian going big commitment to that forehand with a very stable disc. I wonder what this is. He ended up putting himself 15 feet. It's going to work out. Jeff is able to convert his birdie there. Marwede here from probably 20. And that's a rare miss from Marwede there, as he's going to give up a stroke to the card.
This hole just has Andy shaken up in this tournament. I don't know if he was thinking about yesterday or if he had something else going on, but very rare lapse from the putting green.
Just not a hole I would expect Marwede not to convert on twice.
Yeah. Real good confidence booster for Ian to struggle just a little bit with his forehands in the front 9. He only threw a few, and they weren't horrible. I don't think they were even that bad, but they certainly weren't state championship level forehands.
Right, not what he wanted.
And to miss and kind of slip on a forehand and then have it still have a great result and convert on your birdie is a really good feeling.
Right, absolutely. Headed into hole 15 now, 260 feet, par 3. You have this wall of trees. The drone's going to take this left gap, which we saw a couple people play in round 1, but really the wide right gap is the one a lot of players like to take, and you're just trying to get something overstable, mid-range, maybe fairway driver, but really for these guys, it's going to be in that mid-range limit there. You're just trying to take something through that gap and hyzer it towards the basket.
Yeah, I really like almost laying up, not really laying up, but playing for short of the basket and making your putt up to the basket. you're going to get a lot less left to right action, like Jeff got himself into here.
Yep. Jeff just a little shorter than what he wanted. Hit that gap beautifully, but just didn't get quite as far up there, so he's going to have a putt from just in the woods there. Brendan going with the forehand wide gap.
Yeah, that's definitely the widest gap. Unclear if it has the most consistent play towards the green, but just getting past the Guardians, that's the best play.
Yeah, and he puts himself right by the basket, so it's going to be a good shot, good park job from him. Ian also opting to take that wide gap as well.
So here's that short line that I like a lot. So
Yep.
he missed a little left, but because he didn't throw his disc as hard, he kept himself out of danger by choking his disc up, and he's still going to have a circle putt.
Marwede hanging this out a little wide right, and he's going to find himself again in that deep foliage that he did in round 1 as well. We're going to see if he's going to be able to convert this one. He's definitely in, that tree is in his way.
Nice conversion from Andy, able to step out comfortably. His comfortable step out is still about 4.5 feet wide.
I wish I could do that.
Right?
Here's Jeff from probably 25 feet, and a rare miss from him. I think that leaf kind of like when he pulled his disc in kind of got in his way, and it kind of hindered his shot a little bit. So
we do not see Jeff Bennett miss inside the circle ball.
Very rarely. He's a phenomenal putter. He's going to have to settle for this tap-in 3, though. It's okay. We still have a very tight card here. Marwede and Brendan just a stroke away from each other, and we have the other two chasing. Headed into hole 16, 258 feet. Definitely another forehand favored hole or a backhand. You have that first kind of cluster of trees that kind of guard the right off the tee, but they're really not in the way at all as you're trying to stay to the right of them and just have the overstability of the disc kind of just work around this fairway and up towards the green. Just trying to kind of, I would imagine they're throwing fairway drivers or like Firebirds, or they're going to, for Brendan, I'm imagining this is a overstable mid.
So the miss here is long. You really want to choke up short. So you want to throw this low committed shot, pretty much just like Brendan is doing. He got a little more ground action than I think you would expect on that exact shot 100 times, but the miss long is just horrible.
Yeah, you don't want to go too far long. Ian opting to actually go with the forehand here. He has whatever, I don't remember what this disc is, but it is very stable, and that is that's going to work out for him now. He's had several good forehands here in the back nine now.
Yeah, I think he's back. It's definitely warmed up by now. Players other than Andy have probably taken their sweatshirts off at this point. Andy feeling comfortable in it. But
he was cold. He just couldn't get over it.
He's just a cold dude.
Yeah. And that beautiful Sexton Firebird is parked up by the circle. Jeff here with his 2019 Firebird. And this is looking like he left it a little wide left there.
That's the right disc to leave out wide, but he didn't quite get bailed out by that disc.
Yeah, it just didn't hyzer in quite fast enough, so he's going to leave himself outside circle, putting from the woods there. And that, I mean, never didn't have it, right?
So I mean, this is where Jeff's prep at work here. So he knew that he wanted to miss wide if he missed at all. He did not want to skip past the basket. Brendan's got to get back in this game here. Brendan's setting himself up off the tee to win this tournament and just struggled on a few putts to keep himself out of the lead here. But if Jeff skipped long of the basket, he has no putt. And then by missing wide there like that, he's well outside the circle, but he's such a great putter that that's an okay miss. That's the acceptable miss.
Sure. He's going to tap in his par there as we head into hole 17, 280 feet. I would imagine that for a forehand player, you want to throw something kind of on Annie and kind of have it, the overstability of the disc kind of cut back into this gap here. You might also see some backhand players try to cut right in front of those two trees you see on the right side of this gap and try to scoot into the opening there to give yourself a look. Really long past the basket, you kind of get choked off from any kind of a putt.
The other play here is a little less consistent. You have to get a little lucky, but you can convert your three really easily, is to just gun it high and wide right. Just a straight driver shot, and then kind of commit to hitting the foliage and then maybe dropping down in front of the basket. But you get your putt a certain percentage of the time for sure.
Yeah, Ian there doing a nice job. Get into that gap. He's just in that opening there. He'll have a circle one putt from there. Marwede's doing what you're suggesting. He actually is just kind of gunning this that shot. Last round he was a little too far right and left himself through those trees and actually went past the basket. There he kind of choked up his power just a little bit, hit that gap beautifully, and he's right next to Ian there.
Jeff Bennett throwing what I think is the Jeff Bennett shot, but rolled it a little bit more. Just like yesterday, the sign that he hit yesterday is a little bit moved from there, but he had the exact same result.
Yeah, just like you could see his reaction off the tee. It's not what he wanted to do. It's a little turned over a little too much for him as he wanted that a little flatter, let the disc have time to pan out into the gap.
Surprised Brendan took this line here. I would have given him his Nova and told him to just give it a little bit of a turn.
Yep.
Because he definitely has this power to turn over a backhand. Jeff with a deep run.
And it's just a little wide and low. That's a tough putt from that distance, but he's going to have an easy 3 to tap in from there.
Yeah, I think you're going to leave yourself right here really often with that lefty forehand line. It's just going to choke up a little sooner than you want.
Yep. And Brendan actually had a really tight, that tree was exactly the way it had put through exactly one spot, and it just got up there, nearly made it. And Ian, just with a rare misfire there, went wide right.
Yeah, that one wasn't even close. I'm not sure if there's something going on in Ian's head or if he's got some grip or hands issues, but Andy carding the only birdie, he's going to be happy with that, extending his lead.
Yep.
A lot of golf left, not just with tomorrow's 18, but a final 9 after tomorrow's 18.
Absolutely, lots of disc golf still to be played.
You're still playing for position at this point, and not really worried about specific strokes. That comes into play sometime tomorrow.
Absolutely. You really like strokes matter the most at the end of round 3.
Right, absolutely, because then you know where you're at.
Yep. And how much time you have to kind of chase that down. Headed into hole 18, probably my favorite hole on the course, 431 feet, par 4. You see this big pine tree in the fairway. Road on the right is OB on and over. You just kind of throw an approach shot here towards this really narrow gap, and you want to be right in front of it so that you can kind of shoot down this tunnel and have a great look at the basket here. Really tight fairway. Not only those trees are narrow, but the fairway itself is very skinny as well. We had some questionable catching discs in round 1, but we'll see what these guys have in store for us for round 2.
This hole is what I really love about disc golf, is these like not bomber but middling distance par 4s where there's a bunch of plays that all need to lay up to a specific spot and then have a specific shot after that. So Andy's going with the low forehand line. Ian's going with the low backhand line, hyzering out a little bit early. Jeff taking his, I believe, maximum distance driver is what the disc is called, and ripping it really low. That disc looks really good. It's really floppy, so it's not going to have a ton of action on the ground, too. Really good plastic to be throwing. It's almost made of rubber.
Gotcha. Quick story here while we have this moment as Brandon throws a forehand. I think this is a really smart move. He's actually getting quite aggressive here, throwing it into the gap. That's a phenomenal placement. That's probably ideal.
Yeah, I'm skeptical of that play, but hard to argue with results. He's going to have a very easy 3 from there.
Absolutely. But Jared Stoll, I heard through his Warhorse, big hyzer over the trees there and try to spike it through the woods and into that fairway.
Jared Stoll is one of the few players in the entire world that has that kind of power to make that decision. And then to be able to execute is just kind of absurd with this little fairway.
So Marwede unable to get down the fairway as he got blocked off by those trees, and Jeff able to get down there, so he's going to have a 3 look. Ian kind of in a scramble position there, not being where he wanted to, but that polecat coming through as he puts himself parked.
Andy not where he wants to be after his second shot. He's going to be likely losing a stroke to the field.
Yeah, actually this hole was one of the easiest, top 3 easiest holes. Lots of birdies were carded on it. Couple bogeys and 1 double bogey. I imagine that's probably someone trying to get aggressive towards that gap and getting stuck in those really thick trees. But yeah, this is definitely a hole that Marwede wanted a 3 again after, like he did in round 1.
Yeah, it's just a beautiful hole too. It's really cool. The foliage is really, really nice. It is a difficult hole, but it's not like a stupid hole.
Yeah,
as many difficult holes are.
Yeah, it definitely was my favorite hole in the course, just watching them play it. Just not only the positioning that they have to put themselves in for the fairway, but then to also hit that gap in the fairway to give themselves that 3 look.
Yep. Jeff, yet again, showing off his practice. Really easy layup, really easy upshot, tap in putt.
Yeah, easy birdie for him. Headed into hole 1 now, 282 feet, par 3. This is the 17th hole of the tournament here as we're winding back to the very end here. This is a winding right to left shot. George Bino swears that it's a stalker on Heiser as he took birdie on this hole both rounds. And you're just trying to get past that corner there and trying to give yourself a 2 look into that circle 1 range.
So this is another one of those skip shot holes where I like the low rip. Ian opting for a big hyzer line, trying to get that disc to float as far as possible. That's all right action on the ground, but you definitely want to leave yourself closer for the 2.
Yep.
This is an impressive to 2 this 2 rounds in a row, though,
yeah.
From anyone with any play.
Shout out to George Bino there. Looks like Jeff is also opting out to go wide and right there, and he's going to land a very similar position as Ian, it looks like.
Yeah, I like the skip shot just because this hooks so incredibly far.
Hole plays almost exactly to par, just a slight touch under at negative 0.03 as Brendan goes with a forehand here. I think that was a little wider than what he wanted as he gets kind of plinkoed by one of those earlier trees, but he should have a clear look for up and down 3 from that position.
Yeah, that playing under par is not because there's a ton of people taking birdies, it's just because there's no one taking bogeys. There's going to be a ton of pars on this hole.
Marwede left himself a little wide as well as we see Brendan's upshot here, kind of cutting through a little bit of foliage. And a good tree kick there as he's going to put himself right next to the basket. He'll have a tap in for his par there.
So Andy really wanted to move this log that he's got to straddle over, but he was just far too cold to be able to pick up that probably 600-pound log.
Jeff Bennett here from...
We've seen Jeff Bennett make these putts.
Yeah,
too.
last year he was cashing them. We'll see if he can get this one to go here. Definitely one within his range. Ooh.
A beautiful run.
Just a little wide right of that. Definitely one he wanted.
His putt is so safe, too, because it comes in a little nose up and kind of falls into the basket. So when he misses his 80-plus foot runs, he's, 11 feet from the basket now?
Right. It's just easy.
So safe.
Yeah. So we got some tap-ins here. All of these for par. Ian and Jeff right next to each other. As we get ready to play the final hole of round 2. And this will be the last time we play this course, as round 3 we'll be playing at the second course for this tournament.
Yeah, second course playing quite a bit different than this one. Still wooded, but not quite as wooded than this. And then there's a couple more bomber holes for sure.
Absolutely.
Not quite huge distance, but you can open up a little bit. Still a tight race for first here.
Absolutely.
Cards staying really close together.
And we'll have to see how the rest of the field is doing at the end of this round. Hole 2, 311 feet tournament, hole 18. Hole par 3 is another tweener. You have this first tree here with the dead limbs all over it. You're trying to beat this corner, get past these first few guardian trees. If you get past them, you're most likely skipping up towards here, giving you a 2 look. Definitely a difficult hole to birdie, I would say, none the least. I think in the previous day there was just 1 birdie on the hole. Definitely a bonus birdie if you could get it.
With just the layout of the fairway isn't particularly hard. I think we wouldn't see a ton of 2s, but it's definitely twoable with the way the fairway is shaped.
Right.
But with those guardians in the middle, probably 2/3 of the way down, not all the shots are going to be perfect, but then some of the perfect ones just kind of get screwed like Jeff's here.
Yeah, back to back. We actually hit the same branch, both Ian and Jeff. So we'll see if Brendan, that kind of plays into Brendan's mind here as he's trying to get that corner.
Another lefty hole. He gets to open up a backhand on this and flip something up.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying to play that flip to flat play. He's getting around the corner. Oh, looks like he nicked the tree, kept himself just off of that fairway there.
He needed a little more height on that exact angle.
Yeah.
Really nice job hitting the fairway there, but not quite getting through.
This is Marwede's really flippy firebird. He's trying to stick it in the air and actually catches another dead branch. He just couldn't believe it that 3 out of the 4 people hit the same tree branches. And
Jeff going overhand with this yellow thing, and we know where this is going to land.
Yeah, next to the basket.
Yep. This
Whoa,
crazy action inside 15 feet.
Yep. This is that's well within his range. Ian actually got a nasty kick here.
He's brutal.
Yeah, he's in a tough spot here. He's kind of forced to kind of chump out there and kind of leave himself with a really, really rough C2 look from there. Marwede from where Jeff Bennett was the day before. This is huge, 100 and some feet. Sticking it way out there, and what just happened? How far was this?
I forget what he said, but
117
feet, and he used his Bushnell to dial it in right before the shot. Putting is easy, yeah, I guess. You know. And then I said, so you threw your 117-foot distance putt, like you have that dialed? He said, no, I just threw it as hard as I possibly could. So, I mean, that's all you got to do, folks.
Just throw it as hard as you possibly can. As Brendan is up there, got to be tapping in his easy 3. Ian trying to save his after being in a really rough spot, and he skips right off that pro side. You could tell he definitely wanted that to go in.
Yeah, Ian missing a few short putts on the day and really wanted to get one long one to kind of get his stroke back that he's lost earlier. But not quite.
Marwede, the only person to 2 this hole in day 2. Let me double check here on day 1. I thought there were a couple people there were. We had Matt Clark, Derek Evans, and Brendan Tetloff birdied it in round 1. So 4 birdies on the tournament. So pretty good from...
Definitely makes sense that Brendan Tetloff hit it in round 1.
Absolutely. Taking a look here at the back 9 scores, Marwede shooting a clean neg 5. Really, really hot scores. Bennett right behind him at neg 4. Tetloff at neg 3, and Ian Hamilton outside that one really unfortunate lie on hole 18, also neg 3. And looking at our current standings, looks like we're going to keep the card we have, as Hamilton still has that 2-stroke lead over 4th and 5th with Tetloff and Bennett. Both at 13, 3 strokes behind Marwede, who's sitting in a comfortable 3-stroke lead heading into hole 3, or round 3, excuse me. Thanks again to all the Patreon supporters for coming out and helping us continue to make disc golf coverage. We will see you guys in round 3.